Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2, proudly brought to you by Gleeman Truck Parts, Premier One Products, and Shannons Insurance, where you can become a member of the Shannons Club. G'day and welcome to another exciting episode of Classic Restos Trucks Edition. When it comes time for the best in classic parts for your truck, cleaning products for your truck, insurance for your truck, and cracking the good egg when you're a little peckish, go to classicrestos.com.au. Major sponsors' logos there on the homepage. Click on those to be directed to their websites for more information. And on today's show, I've travelled to Lara in Victoria to Klos Custom Trucks. Now, these boys were good enough to have me here. And believe me, there's plenty of toys and tons of noise. With me on today's show, we have Justin. How are you, Justin?
I'm very good, Fletch. And yourself?
Good, mate, good. Just, mate, you're a tall bloke, aren't you? Hey, hang on a sec. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah. Hang on. I got just the thing to help me. Righto.
Hey.
Righto.
Mate, how does that feel?
How's that feel, mate?
They're very good, mate.
That's good. So, Justin, how long you guys been here?
We've been building trucks here for the last 11 years. And yeah, which started off as just basically having fun, sort of playing with trucks deal, and then we sort of got hooked up with a company, and they sort of started throwing us new trucks, and away we went, which is sort of where we are today, and 11 years later, and we're punching out trucks Australia wide for really cool guys.
How far were you into trucking before you thought to yourself, hang on a second, we've got to be a bit creative here, we've got to start doing this sort of stuff?
Well, when we were, I suppose, like I say, we're third generation, but my parents took us over the States in, I think it was 89, 90, and like we were able to witness what Americans were doing back then, and blew my mind. Well, from that point forward, we sort of envisioned, to bring that stuff over here, which is just a pipe dream. Like, there's no if, buts, or maybes about it. And then as time progressed, and we were able to slowly, bring parts in and sell it at truck shows, and that sort of, I suppose, put a footprint on the ground for what we can do. And Fletch, this is Denver, my personal assistant.
Okay, Justin, the big girl behind us, mate. First cab off the rank here today, the 1985 W924. What's the rundown there? Yeah,
this one here we bought. It was just a typical rundown old work truck. And we thought, the truck's too old to put in service, without spending a lot of money on it. We thought, let's just have fun with it. So what we did, we had this truck on a strict budget that we wanted to build. So we had a $16,000 budget in mind, and sort of what you see today is what we spent. We basically built it just out of parts we had in our salvage yard. We lowered the truck 16 inches, and we put a car hauler front axle on it, airbag the steer, put a lowrider suspension on the rear of it as well to get the rear down. Like the tanks and all that on the truck they were just all scrap stuff we had laying around that we just basically used, and no money, just used our creativeness to build it,
How cool is it? I mean, these guys hot rodding trucks. I mean, it's like the equivalent of hot rodding cars. I mean, they are just big cars. They're just so awesome. The truck in its entirety, how does it drive?
Mate, like a Cadillac.
Does it?
Like, absolutely beautiful. And that's one thing we sort of, like, on a hot day or something, on a Sunday, like, me and the brother, we'll take a truck out and we'll just go for a drive, and that's we got cars and bikes, but we love trucks.
It's your therapy, right?
It is, correct, yeah, and then the girls don't get it, but it's just the way it is.
What I love about what you guys stand for, Justin, is by no means are you an old guy. You're a young guy, but you're carrying on that older type tradition that a lot of people watching the show are going to appreciate, and that is a very cool thing just in itself. Speaking of cool, we have the 007 truck next to us here. Now, famous for the movie 007. How did you score this?
We're in Las Vegas, Kenworth there, I would have said probably about 93, 94 or something like that. And they had these two trucks, like as in the movie, sort of rearing up in the air, and wow, we couldn't believe what we seen. And I said to Dad, why don't we buy one of them? He's like, mate, he goes, you're dreaming. Well, you know what, he was right. you know, and sort of that was...
You were dreaming.
Yeah, like it was one of them trucks, Fletch, that we could sort of always, every time we'd sort of flick around on the internet or something, you see one up for sale, it's like, wow. Yeah. We actually got on a friend of ours there's a TV show called Trick My Truck, which a lot of people are familiar with. Yeah, Brian, he's a good friend of ours. He sort of sent me an email. I said, listen, he goes, I think I've got your 007. He goes, this guy wants to, you know, muck around with it. And I'm like, give me his details. And we committed to the sale straight away because they're just not around. But
give us the model. The people watching the show, year model and the model of the truck, Justin.
Well, that truck's it's a 1990 Kenworth W900L. And what's so special, I suppose, with this truck here is that when Kenworth, this is the first model, like Kenworth's always had a 900B, which is a shorter nosed version. But when they introduced the 900L, which is for the long nose, they brought it out in the 007 series. So this is the 9th one that's ever been built, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so they for the movie James Bond, Licence to Kill, Kenworth brought them out as just a signature, you know, for that. And yeah, to try and get it, we were very, very lucky.
How does it make you feel to own such an iconic truck with such history?
You know what, we're going to die with that truck. You know, and that's one thing that, you know, we've had a lot of offers for guys wanting to buy it, and it's just such a sentimental truck to us. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, classic Restos promotional truck. I could see it now. I got Buckley's getting a hold of this thing.
We'll give it a go anyway, Fletch.
Justin, I've got to say, mate, it's that time of the show before our break. We're going to have to take this big girl for a run. Can we do that?
Certainly can, mate. I'll go and fire her up.
All right, strap yourself in. Have a look at this. Classic Restos is the first TV show to bring you classic trucks, and of course it's thanks to my major sponsors. The best in insurance, the best in parts for your truck, the best in cleaning products for your truck, and cracking the good egg when you're a little peckish. See them all at classicrestos.com.au. Back with more after this. Welcome back. Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2. We have Justin. How are you, buddy?
I'm very well, Fletch. And you?
Good, mate. Good. What a sensational episode this is. First of all, I just want to again thank you for letting me into your yard here today.
Absolute pleasure.
Mate, we've got a Kenworth W924 here. What a classic truck. It's sitting here with all its exuberance, no engine or gearbox. It's like as though it's its own little shrine here. Give us the rundown. What's the story?
Well, this truck here is this truck's probably the pioneer in sort of custom trucks in Australia, you know, that set the trend. It's a 1983 Kenworth, and from the day it was born, it's just been one very iconic truck. The owners, they were innovators as far as their vision and what they seen, and sort of a lot of people couldn't get where they were going with it, and sort of there was a lot of haters and there was a lot of lovers with it. But to see this truck here today and looking back at its past of what it is, it's just one rare bird.
Justin, I just can't believe how iconic and how nice this truck is. I mean, even sitting here now, it's kind of like the old girl's died in one respect and gone to a nursing home, but it's still with us.
Correct, yeah. And the owner of the vehicle now, Peter Blanis, this guy is he's a true perfectionist when it comes to, you know, if there's anyone that deserves a truck more than this, that's him, because and like the ability of sort of us restoring the truck for him and making that dream come true is, that's where we're at.
Justin, the history side of this truck, where did it run?
Truck predominantly run Melbourne-Brisbane.
We've got a shot on screen now of how it looked back in the day. I mean, it's almost like, although a little bit later on, but real smoky in the Bandit stuff, isn't it?
Very true, yeah. Like I say, this guy had a vision, and yeah, to look back now and as sort of times change and trends change and that, and this guy really captured sort of, yeah, he had a cool vision of what he portrayed. So yeah, definitely hats off to him.
It's amazing too, the American trucks, the way they're detailed. I mean, it goes without saying, they're just so symbolic with their shiny stuff. Down to, they were proud of the displacements in terms of engine size, like 500 Detroit, bang, on the side there. Yep. That was a statement, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah. And that's like, this truck here is probably, to sum it up to the sort of the bikers out there, is like a heritage Softail. Yeah. You know, it's a fully dressed truck with sort of, you know, everything on it, and it's a truck that sort of screams pride, you know, like sort of, and individuality, which is sort of, is pretty cool, you know, the way sort of people, you know, make it individual.
They command respect. I mean, whether they're standing still or out on the highway, they command respect. Even at roundabouts, even when we're standing right now, this is the only time that you want to be standing in front of a Kenworth.
Yeah, very true, Fletch, because but that is like, you see a truck going down the road, and not too many people actually take notice of a dirty truck. You know, they take notice of a clean truck, or they see something different, you know, with a nice style to it, and it actually, you know, you always have that positive image, you know, which is nice, and that's what our industry needs. You know, sort of more trucks that sort of have that positive image and sort of, you know, that pride, and sort of, like we always say, class is a cool truck. Well, that sort of sums it all up.
Look, every industry, no matter what it is, has always got a dodgy 1 or 2%. And believe me, as I said many times before, I'm right behind this trucking fraternity, because these are the guys, these are the backbone of a lot of the trucking fraternity that you'll come across along the journey, which is just so nice. They're not just guys that drive trucks, they believe in the fraternity. In this case, they rebuild them and just keep the whole legacy alive. What's the story with this one, Justin?
Well, this truck here, like, it was one of them sort of trucks that had a lot of history to it, and it was originally owned by a guy, Frank Waddell, from Lithgow. He had it from new. His son then spent a lot of money on building this truck, and they then Americanised it. They put the American bonnet and big sleeper and all that. I think it's a 78-inch sleeper or something on the truck now. And yeah, the truck was built for a Sydney truck show, I think it's 92 or 93. And
just speaking of the sleeper cabs for a sec, over in the United States, they go up to something like 20 feet, like 6 metres in length. Almost the whole length of the chassis of the tractor trailer is taken up with a sleeper cab.
Yeah, no, true. And Americans are very sort of passionate with their drivers. You know, they actually care about their drivers. Here's our guys sometimes actually get dog kennels to sleep in. You know, where sort of this particular truck here, like, it was just a luxury liner, you know, from head to toe. So it, and it got built in I think it was 92 for the Sydney Truck Show. It then worked its life out. Once again, the truck's owned by a friend of ours, Ryan Hardiman. He bought it in a sad state. It's just worked his whole life out, and he just pumped blood, sweat and gears into it to make it what it is today.
I know I've repeated myself many times on Classic Restos about this, but isn't it good that these vehicles can work so hard for many, many years, all the toil that they experience, and at the end, they're lucky enough to come through. It's like sand through a sieve. The big rocks are held, the sand falls through. This is a grain of sand. It's escaped. Put some money into it, and here it is preserved, sitting here today. It's like a medal at the end of it.
Yeah, very true. And that once again brings me back to that sort of this whole awareness now that you know, websites like Facebook and that have given people, because, you know, a lot of people weren't aware of this truck unless you're in that right circle or sort of, you know, had involvement with these sort of older, you know, historical trucks. But nowadays, even young guys, you know, are that sort of cool into it. It's not funny, you know, and that's good, because it sort of makes our passion, you know, it fires it, and a lot of other people's as well.
How could you not like a truck like this? I mean, the chrome stacks, the air cleaners on the side. We look inside the dashboard. I mean, these are trucks. There's no two ways about it. I mean, they've got a truck look, a truck feel. They've got an image all of their own, haven't they?
Yeah, true. And like the cool part with, I suppose, where these trucks sit in this present part in time is that, you know, like the owner of this truck here, he, you know, if it's a nice day, he'll go and take his wife out for a drive. You know, like instead of it's a hot rod or a bike, you know, he's actually going for a cruise down the road in actually a really cool truck, you know, and that's great.
Cold drink of water. Oh, thanks, mate.
That's
Jeez,
4 to 1.
Isn't that good? Isn't this awesome? Well, an authentic glass of water here, put on by the boys in a mixing cup, and it's actually 4 to 1 mix. 4 to 1 mix of water. Stick around because after the break we're going to be back with the big fella Justin and he's going to walk us through a very unique and rare gold nugget. Welcome back. What an episode. You enjoying yourself, Justin?
Oh, mate, having a time of our life, mate.
Isn't this good? Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2. I'm getting to the stage where I can't get enough of this.
Well, you know what, mate, it's actually cool to see, like I say, what we have to offer, so people can actually see what we got as well, and yeah, we love it.
Mate, awesome. We're into 1984 now with this truck. Very rare, the gold nugget. That's a highly sought after truck now.
Yeah, well, Kenworth back in the 80s, they built 30 of these, and which are all individually numbered plaque trucks.
It's not many, is it? 30?
No. And these what make them a very collectible truck today. And this one here behind us is number 5. Yeah. And yeah, it's still the original colours, the original paint, you know, sort of basically all the engine, you know, the drivetrain's all been updated, but the truck is still as it was back in the 80s. So,
Justin, I love asking the question about the history. I like to know where these big girls have travelled. Do you know what it predominantly did?
Yeah, well, this truck here, it was owned. Well, it was leased to a company, Malossi Small Goods, that was doing like interstate frozen, like delicatessen sort of stuff. It then got sold to produce carter, and then it ended up being a farm truck, just doing road trains, sort of, you know, hauling wheat and wool and that. And my brother, he's been after the truck for about 3 years now.
What part of the country was it mainly?
Yeah, Dubbo, New South Wales. Yeah, and Turk, like about 3 years, like sort of, we've had the truck for 2, so yeah, probably 5 years now, been chasing the truck. And yeah, he sort of got wind of it and just kept giving the guy a call, and one thing led to another, and he sort of called us up one Christmas, and at the worst possible time ever, you know, like he goes, man, I want to retire and sell this truck. And it's like, man, well, we had to scrape money together to buy it, you know, because we thought, you know what, that sort of, and yeah, we restored it, bar the paint, like I say, the paint's all original. We just put our sign writing on it, and yeah, that's the truck it always was.
It's beautiful, mate. Give us a rundown on engine, gearbox, driveline.
Yeah, well, the truck originally had a 892 Detroit in it. It's been replaced with a C15 Caterpillar. Because it's a truck in service every day, we want the reliability and efficiency as a new truck will give you. It's got an 18-speed Spicer in it, so it's always had the Spicer transmission.
Sounds like fun to drive.
Well, you know, out of all our work trucks, we've probably only got about 2 guys that can drive the truck, so it's cool because it's a very personal truck.
Back in the day, 38,000, 44,000 pound diffs.
They're sort of, yeah. If you had 44s, you're a pretty big stepper. This now's got 46,000 pound diffs. Yeah, we put Airglide 100 under it, and sort of like basically from the actual outside of the cabin, you know, is original. The rest of it's brand new. Yeah. So we sort of like the interior was, we had to repair, you know, pieces of it to make it look right. But yeah, the truck's just one of the things that were cool.
It's an awesome looking truck too. I mean, being the insignia there with the gold nugget up on front there, I mean, this truck must get plenty of looks.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something you would never go out of your way to paint a truck that colour, and I think that's the sort of the draw card of sort of the colouring of the truck. Like I know when we first bought it, and because my brother had such a sort of hard on for this truck, and I got it, my wife goes, what the hell is that? And my daughter loved it because she thought, you know,
Malossi, Italian colours. I mean, it's a walking ambassadorship for Italy, isn't it?
Well, the funny part, Fletch, like the trailer it was coupled to was painted the same colour. Yeah. Like it had sort of, you know, all the coloured stripes all the way through it, and it's like, man, check this thing out, will you? But I guess it's sort of, once again, it's just individual.
The younger drivers out there these days probably don't have quite the same appreciation unless they're real historians, but the older drivers out there, they'd really recognise the gold nugget.
Oh, definitely. And once again, like sort of, and I probably sound like a bit of a broken record here, but a lot of people didn't know the historic meaning of trucks and the way sort of, you know, the way the custom trucks, you know, the history of them and stuff like that. Where now, like I say, because of, you know, there's a lot now, people are aware of it. And knowledge starts, you know, every day we always learn something. And like to try and work out where them 30 original gold nuggets come from was very, very hard, you know. And now, yeah, we got the sheet of it, who had them from brand new, where 95% of them are now. And the funny part, Fletch, we've had probably in the last 10 years, like Turk myself, I've owned 7 of them.
I'm really enjoying today's episode. You could spend a lot of time here. We're getting towards the end of the day. But Justin, there's a truck just over the other side there that's out of action. Would you like to tell us, we'll go over and have a talk about that?
Definitely, Fletch. We'll go check that out, and after that, if you want, we can jump in the truck and you can go take it for a spin and see how it goes.
Time to look at this 1979 Kenworth. This poor old girl. Have a look at that, just sitting there like that. You know, it looks like it's done 3 or 4 million miles. What's its story, Justin?
Well, this one here, Fletch, is a very personal truck for Turk and myself once again. Like it's a 1979 extended hood Kenworth. It's got a 425 Caterpillar in it. It's got the 5x4 twin stick transmission. It's a 308-inch wheelbase truck, so it's long. Like it's equivalent to like nearly 40 foot of prime mover. We bought the truck as a Missouri truck when we bought it. We bought it for the sake of how big it was. Yeah. Like it just had that wow factor to it.
Just to get it.
Yeah, like it was. And the funny part was, there was a story with that truck. Like my brother and myself were smoking cigarettes, you know, and we sort of, when this truck come up, we thought, how are we gonna pay for it? You know, this is probably maybe 12, 14 years ago or something like, you know. And we thought, well, you know what, let's work out how much we're gonna save, how we can do it. And we thought of smoking, you know, let's stop smoking. And you know, we went to the bank, got a personal loan. Went and bought the truck, and then every time, like we sort of go every week, you know, we'd put that $100 in the jar, and sort of wife would take it into the bank, and you know, away it went. And so that's how that truck that's how we bought it.
You must have well and truly got stuck into the durries.
Oh well, both of us did, yeah. And but that was a funny part, like with that truck.
You could call it durry.
Yeah. Well, with that truck there, what's special about it? It was what do they call them? A Missouri Outlaw truck, and if you see on the back of it there, it's got the 4 tanks on the rear of it. These guys used to haul. Well, they used to do East Coast produce, but they would never fuel their trucks. What they do is these guys would sort of take off, you know, on the Saturday, and they would never fuel. They would stop and they'd actually thieve fuel along the way. So all these big companies that they run with, they just sort of go up their trucks and, you know, pump them pump the fuel into the extra tanks, and away they go.
It is one hell of a truck. It's probably one of the biggest prime movers that I've seen. Justin, time to wrap up the show. We've got a truck to take for a drive, right?
Yeah, we'll go and fire up and go for a spin, and I'll show you how to change some gears.
Oh, here we go. Righto, mate. What do we say? What an episode. What a guy. What a team of blokes here. Awesome stuff. Thanks so much, Justin.
You're more than welcome, Fletch. And by the way, if you ever want to chance gear jamming, mate, you're doing some pretty impressive driving there, mate.
I mean, driving that. I mean, I can see why you guys and how you guys get hooked. I really can.
Yeah, right. Well, there you go. That's something that people see. They see trucks, and you know, you see them going down the road every day of the week. It's nice to actually step in our world for a little bit, understand the way we think, and and how we roll.
Absolutely, mate. You do an excellent job, mate. Thanks once again for having me here. Good on you, Justin.
Oh, more than welcome, mate.
Good on you, mate. Geez, you got a bloody good hand grip on you, mate.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you've really enjoyed this week's edition of Classic Restos Trucks Edition Series 2. I'm sure you'll agree the guys here do a fantastic job. Now, don't forget classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show. Of course, Classic Restos Trucks Series 2, and how the major sponsors can help you as well. As I say at the end of every week's show, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.